Welcome to this video. This video is part of a series that, at least for now, is called Need to Recognize Our Origin, this in order to maintain our existence, to thrive while solving our challenges. We're talking here about the existence of 8 billion modern humans, which, when you are with 8 billion modern humans with their actual lifestyles, you obviously have consequent challenges. And these challenges are a threat. So we need to solve them, but we also need to thrive them, because not thriving is a threat by itself. It leads to divisions, to conflict, to wars. And wars would even increase many challenges that are a threat, as said. So we will talk about the Y-DNA haplogroup tree, and that's here. It's here. It's the tree is the tree that starts with Y-DNA atom, and then kicks off to the first group, that consensus, because this is consensus information, defines as A, B, D, E, C, and a more or less virtual F. This virtual F, we explain it for now as this is their step to the next group, because they want to cover all haplogroups. And in fact, R is a dominant haplogroup, is the dominant actual haplogroup of us 8 billion modern humans that need to try and solve our challenges in order to go on existing. So this is an extract, it's not about this. We will claim that this tree is in this first block of this tree should be divided in, split up here. So you have A, B. They are in Africa. Let's check if I have, you have it here, on the downside of this image. World map of Y-DNA haplogroups. At the bottom, you have this tree starting with Y-DNA atom and more or less ending with haplogroup R, which is the actual dominant haplogroup. Since this is about natives, you don't see it here because this is the dominant haplogroups actually amongst Native Americans. So you don't have the R. But this R expanded, Spain, Portugal, England, etc. They will expand across the ocean, and then they arrive here and will conquer the Americas. Officially, they conquered the Americans more or less around 1500. So R dominant here, but R is also here, here, here. Anyhow, today it's the dominant haplogroup. The next dominant haplogroup is O. Let's say O is dominant in China, but more in general in East and Southeast Asia, even in Indonesia, as you see here. The next dominant group is Q. Q, that is especially dominant homogeneous in South America, but also in Middle America. Just accepted another hue here than the South American hue, than the Amazon hue. So this is where we started off, the need to recognize our origin in order for us 8 billion humans to exist, to thrive and solve our challenges, which actually is certainly not the case. We are not thriving. We have a lot of conflicts as a consequence that we are not thriving. When we 8 billion humans are thriving, we don't have conflicts, we solve our conflicts. Right now, we're not thriving. Consequently, we have conflicts, divisions, and we're not thriving. In fact, we're challenged. The existence of these 8 billion modern humans is challenged. And so we have to find a way to thrive and solve our challenges. And we claim that by looking at our origin, we will see how they existed and see that what we have to learn to exist in modern times, to thrive and to solve our challenges. So we're talking about this group. We claim it has to be split up. A is the Sand People. The Sand People. Keep it simple. There's some here, but it's the Sand People. I will go right now to this figure where I can zoom in. So these are the Sand People. We'll try to zoom in. Khoisan Sand People. They are Y-DNA haplogroup A, of which we can find Y-DNA Adam here in Cameroon or around Cameroon. So this is the Khoisan, and it's a Sand People, but they are only with 100,000 or 150,000, and roughly 50% of them is haplogroup A. So the supposed origin of all 8 billion modern humans should be this haplogroup A that only has 50,000 individuals. And they are hunter-gatherers. They don't have the morphology of this 8 billion modern humans because they are more or less, they are more, they are pygmy-like. They are not pygmy. Here you have the pygmy. They are haplogroup B. But don't have the morphology of most of these Eurasians. They have less tall morphology and they have black skin. And black skin amongst the modern humans in Eurasia is southern. So if you compare that with the Native Americans, they are few, especially South America, but also Central America. They dominate their continent, and the Sun people don't dominate their continent. They are retracted. When the Conquerors arrived, they were all around, especially in South and Central America. 98% of the Amerinds were concentrated in South and Central America. So the Sun, this supposed haplogroup origin of all modern humans, is not present as an ancestor should be present. You see, it didn't spread out of Africa. In fact, it's in the opposite corner, especially if you assume they walked out of Africa, as consensus assumes. Even if you would consider navigation, navigation, you don't find them elsewhere in the world. So it's a very retracted, it's absolutely not characteristic for an ancestor. Q, South America, Central America, is dominant and is characteristic for an ancestor. And it's even here dominant and here dominant. And it's present in Europe, in Western Eurasia, in smaller frequencies, even in Africa, in smaller frequencies. Q once was spread all over the world, so it doesn't make sense. A was never spread all over the world, and Q was spread all over the world. And C, which has its root in Ecuador, South America, and also in North America, springs off from the Americas, is detectable. Right? It's here. You see the yellow color. You don't see the yellow color in Ecuador because it was the origin. You see it here, and you see it spread out over Western, over Eurasia, over Australia, and C, just like Q, once covered all the world, except Africa. We don't have evidence that Q and C once dominated Africa, but we have evidence that Q and C once populated the whole world. So that is characteristic for the ancestor of all 8 billion modern humans. So in order for us to try, we have to look at our ancestor. We will further claim, argue, and prove that we're not out of Africa. So we should stop looking there for an ancestor. We should start looking where the evidence is, where the ancestral markers point to, where the haplogroups point to. We just showed haplogroups, but the ancestral markers, which are the primary tool, it's in the name, to find our ancestor, point to the Amazon and to the Americas. So to find those solutions, to try and to solve our challenges, we should look at where the ancestral markers and the haplogroups point to. We more or less showed you the haplogroups and where you find the characteristics for the origin.